Merry Christmas for 2014. It's been an odd year for us. Work has remained slow and the coal industry is experiencing the worst downturn in years. In March we travelled to South America, spending 5 weeks visiting Chile, Peru and Ecuador. To really appreciate the area, one would need to travel for at least a year. Our first port of call was Easter Island, or Rapa Nui. The stone statues, or moai, are amazing feats of ingenuity, and it's long been debated the cause for the near extinction of the Rapa Nuans. It's a great topic of debate at dinner parties. I think there are more Maoris there than Rapa Nuans. Our next adventure was a visit to Pumalane, where we kayaked and camped for 5 days. This is the fjordland south of Santiago, where sea lions perch opposite salmon farms, scheming a grand theft of fish. The waters are calm, and it's a really delightful place to visit. Historically, the area is known for the hiding out of the Dresden in the First World War. We camped on narrow shorelines with 7-metre tidal range, which was interesting to say the least. It was a small group of paddlers, and we had a support vessel called the Minerva, where we ate and drank the local drop called pisco sour. Our paddling cohorts were from all over the place, with lots of recommendations for paddling adventures across the globe, and some of these we hope to follow up on. We had a few short jumps within Chile, but then we headed off to Patagonia for a trek along the Torres del Paine, or to us, the Towers of Pain. This walk was the hardest we've experienced, and our guide was a jovial Chilean man who hadn't ever experienced walking with Australians. He commented that it is true Australians are funny people and that we didn't know how to walk. We couldn't work out if he thought we were funny ha-ha or peculiar, but anyway, he was a delight. The countryside was wonderful, with glaciers, snow, sleet, rain, all the elements that make walking fun. We saw these lakes that were salt lakes, just amazing place to visit. And if you've got the energy, I highly recommend it. We did all sleep in refuges, where 6 of us shared a room, and that was interesting. I parked on the last day due to asthma and chilly belly, but everyone else completed the full walk without too much complaint. Greg and Leanne from work and our vet Graham also came along. From there, our next stop was Machu Picchu. Our whole trip in South America, we took in 19 flights. We gained a taste for the local drop, pisco sour, and their famous red Carmen Air. Next year we will be better prepared fitness-wise. A few hours after we arrived in Cusco, we noticed that we were suffering from a touch of the altitude sickness, and it was enough to forego beer, but otherwise we were fine. Walking around at altitude is a slow process, and you really feel quite feeble. Machu Picchu is truly startling. You can easily ignore the tourists and still have the experience of a spiritual feel around the place. There is a fair bit of conjecture about the life of the Incas, but irrespective, they certainly created a unique place. After Machu Picchu, we headed off to Quito, the second highest city in the world. By this time we were altitude okay. It's a fascinating flight into the city, divided by a gorge. The landing was quick and short with no leeway for error. From Quito we headed off to Galapagos, and here is another amazing place. The wildlife there is completely unfazed by humans, and at some stages we had to step over the sea lions to walk on the paths. Other people in our party were mostly Europeans, and the command of several languages was humbling for us monolinguistic Aussies. We swam with sharks, which was a little bit uncomfortable, and sea lions, and was enthralled by the bird life. On the domestic front, we joined the local rural fire brigade. Both of us are now active members. We also adopted a Belgian German Shepherd puppy named Hector. He cost us a bottle of bourbon, and he seems to be the brightest out of our other two dogs, which is a little bit sad, considering all the money we spent on Max and Zephyr. Max and Zephyr have shown a great deal of tolerance, with the odd outbursts of jealousy, usually displayed with a nip and lots of tears. On the family front, all is status quo with our mothers. Apart from a few small hiccups, they are both well. Liam is enjoying his job. He travels to China a few times a year on behalf of his employer, and is pleased he has been able to afford a new car, so things are looking up. Although Mal has had a quiet year, it's been fantastic having him at home, as there's plenty to do here. Well, anyway, we wish you all the very best and safe travels over this Christmas period. Vicky and Mal. Cheers.